Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me borrow the car in this video. Toyota of Naperville is one of the largest Toyota dealers in Illinois, ready to find the right car for you.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2022 Toyota Corolla Hatchback XSE. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline 4 and down below is a 6-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Corolla today for one big fat reason, and that is the 6-speed manual, in which is currently under my right hand. I recently had a 2023 Toyota Corolla Hatchback XSE press car, and what a press car is a vehicle that a manufacturer sends to a journalist like myself to drive for the entire week. That was my tangerine dream. However, for 2023, they dropped the manual option. So that car you're seeing on screen now was a CVT, and that was one of the biggest downsides of that car. So we're gonna take a step back in time today to last year, 2022, when they did offer the manual, and so I'm going to share with you why I think it was a very dumb decision by Toyota to take away this option. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpraedel.com, where you can buy stickers and other merchandise when it becomes available. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you get a video of your car just like this one. And you could read my behind-the-scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 2-liter under the hood, making 169 horsepower. Well, it's a small little 4-banger. It's a dual overhead cam, 4-valve per cylinder engine, so it sticks with Toyota's heritage quite nicely. Across all hatchbacks, it is going to be the same engine. Now, if you get the Corolla sedan, you could find them in hybrid with the 1.8, but all hatchbacks get the 2-liter. However, let's talk about why we're here today, which is the 6-speed manual transmission. Like I mentioned, for 2023, this option has been dropped in favor of the GR Corolla being the only Corolla to get a manual. That comes with a 3-cylinder turbo, all-wheel drive, and of course the stick shift. You cannot get a manual transmission in a modern Corolla hatchback unless it's the GR, which comes with a hefty price tag increase. And I think that was an incredibly dumb decision by Toyota, because this manual transmission is fantastic. This driving experience has been fantastic with this manual. It's very, very notchy with the shifter. The clutch is nice and light and forgiving. However, it does have that hydraulic feeling to it. It doesn't feel numb. It actually feels like I am engaging and disengaging the clutch with my left foot. So I like that driver connected feel here in the Corolla. This also gets the IMT option from Toyota, which is auto rev matching for downshifting. You don't have to blip the throttle, you just clutch in, put it into a lower gear, and the car will automatically rev up to the proper RPM to make that gear shift nice and clean. This I love, and for the longest time, the GR86 didn't even get this. I'm actually not even sure it does today. So very, very cool option here in the 6-speed hatchback. And it just makes the driving experience so fun. It's front-wheel drive, in case you're wondering, but let's talk about the driving experience. It is so good with this manual transmission. Having driven the CVT for so long, it feels like I'm regaining control of my life. I'm taking the wheel again. I'm making the decisions, where in the past, I let Toyota make all the decisions for me. And I didn't like that. This manual livens this car up so much. It's really genuinely a blast to drive. And I can't believe that Toyota has taken this from us. Absolutely astounding. With the drivetrain out of the way, let's talk about the interior. There's definitely some differences between the 2022 and 2023 model, because 2023 was a facelift year. So I'll share with you what I can pick out. starting with the gauge cluster. So I have 2 physical gauges on either side and then a screen in the center. For 2023, it's all digital, so you get different gauges. But here in 2022, off to the left, we get the tachometer. Off to the right, we get the fuel and coolant temperature. And then in the center, I do get a little customizable screen that I can cycle through a bunch of different things. I do like this blue color, and of course, since we don't have drive modes because it's a manual transmission, I don't get any color changes or anything like that. However, not the end of the world. On the steering wheel, on the left, I have my selector for that center screen, as well as the back button, phone button, volume button, and voice commands. And off to the right, I have my lane keep assist and cruise control options, as well as my skip track and mode. This does get adaptive cruise control, although it has a manual transmission, which I thought was a pretty cool feature. Off to the left, I get a giant climate control vent, gauge dimmer switch, and automatic headlights, and then a bunch of dead switches, which is a little annoying to see in an XSE, given that it is a higher trim, but that's okay. Moving on to the door, we do have the power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Pretty standard equipment there. And moving into the center, this is another change for 2023. This is the older infotainment system from Toyota. It does not have wireless Apple CarPlay, so it is wired only. However, I think it works fine. Here's what the backup camera looks like. It's a manageable system. Just know that the 2023 does have updated infotainment. Then we have 2 climate control vents and the hazard switch. And then we have our climate controls. I get dual zone as well as eco, heat, and cool to try to most efficiently heat and cool the vehicle. Just won't be the speediest. And I like how slim they are. I like that they're physical buttons and it's not ran through the screen. No real thoughts past that. Then we come to the center console. This is pretty different from the 2023. First of all, we do have a cubby up at the front. No wireless charger. However, the wireless charger in the 2023 never really agreed with my phone and kept denying charging it. Not really sure why. So I don't really miss it. Then we have the heated seat buttons up at the top. And then we come to the actual center console. We get the IMT button. That is for the auto rev matching as well as traction control. Then we have the shifter itself. I think the shifter looks really, really good, especially given Toyota's track record with more basic budget shifters. They've always been rubbery, plasticky, very Dollar Tree-esque. However, that's not the case here. It actually does feel and look very, very solid, presentable, and I love seeing that. Then we get the auto holding brake as well as the power parking brake. Not a big fan of this system because it is a manual car. I like having a physical parking brake, you know, because I'm shifting gears, bow, bow, bow. And then to park it, I go. Can't say I'm in love with that. Then we do have cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Toyota Corolla from 2022. And unfortunately it fails. Although I knew this going into it, I don't think they changed much between last year and this year. So it's still a fail. Then I do get a center console with a 12-volt outlet in there as well as a USB-C. So interestingly, up on the dash, there's a USB-A, a more traditional USB, but inside the center console, I get a USB-C. So a nice mix of technology there. And the center console is fine for resting your arm between shifts. The seats are comfortable. They're finished in Softex, which is a nice sort of leather and cloth mix. They're fine, they're heated, power, and I can't say I have many complaints. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2022 Toyota Corolla Hatchback XSE, and unfortunately, nothing really changed between the current model year and the 2022. The back seat is still really, really cramped. My knees are hitting the seat in front of me. My head is starting to hit the ceiling. It's not a very pleasurable experience. Here's what the back seats look like. They look nice, and I'm sure for smaller people, kids, it's gonna be fine back here, but I am 5'11", and I am starting to hit the ceiling. You don't really buy a Corolla if you're going to use the back seat all the time. That's what the Camry's for. That's what the new Crown coming out was for. The outgoing Avalon was for. However, I do have 2 fold-out cup holders, if that makes your day any better. But let's go hop out. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space. Then we'll talk about the looks, and then we'll get back to that manual transmission. All right, so we're on the back of the Corolla XSE. Little grab handle down here to pop it up. And this was my big complaint with the 2023 as well, is that it has a flat loading floor, meaning there's no lip at the back, so anything that might roll, or if you park on an incline and pop the trunk, it will come flying out. I can come in, and there's this little handle. You can pull this up, but that is the spare tire, so you don't really get much more storage room. On the sides, you do get these deep divots, but other than that, nothing crazy. You do get this interesting diagram that is definitely not a Corolla. Actually looks like a Tesla Model X. If you have any thoughts on what that car might be, please leave it in the comment section down below. I do get a little light over here, no 12-volt outlet or anything like that, so unfortunately, not as much space as I would have liked to have seen in the back of the Corolla, but that's okay. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I actually really like the look of the Corolla. I praised the 2023 for this as well, but overall, I think it is a very handsome automobile. I think it's proportioned really well, although we do have that lack of trunk space, lack of rear seat room. I think overall, it's actually a really good looking car, and I've seen them in nice blues. The orange, which is new for 23, so you can't get that with manual, but I think it looks great in orange, it looks good in red, blue, and of course this gray as well. But with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the 2022 Toyota Corolla Hatchback XSE with the 6-speed manual transmission? Well, I have to say, the manual alone makes this car so much better. Just this one difference changes my entire outlook on this car. Because the Corolla that I had for a press car and drove around for a week, I liked it, but I didn't really love it. I felt like the price tag was a little high for not a whole lot of trunk room, not a whole lot of rear seat room, and a very mushy, although reliable, but mushy CVT. Now pairing it with the manual, I can take a crappy back seat. I can take less cargo space because this car is so much more fun to drive. It feels like a completely different automobile. It feels like when I was growing up, I used to watch my brother play The Sims. I would actually sit on the computer chair behind him and just watch him play the video game. But then I grew up, I got older, and I started my own account and started playing myself. And it made it so much better because I got to make all the decisions. I got to choose what color my house was and when to remove the ladder out of the swimming pool. That's how I feel. I get to be the operator now. I get to control the ship. It's invigorating, it's empowering, and it's a lovely experience. The shifter feels good, the clutch feels good, steering, throttle, great. The 2-liter isn't gonna get me in any trouble. I can wring this thing out. I can pick it up by its neck and boot it across a field. I'm really not going to get into any major trouble. Unless I'm in a school zone, you're not really going to be destroying speed limits. But it's fun. Getting up to the speed limit is going to be fun. On a twisty back road is going to be fun. Your morning commute where you have to go through that forest preserve for 2 minutes in order to get to your job, where there's just grass and trees around you and minimal traffic, those 2 minutes are going to be a lot better when you have the manual transmission. And I truly believe that happiness isn't achieved by big things. It's the little things along the way. You have to sort of microdose happiness here in 2023, and this manual shifter allows that to happen. Is this car going to change your life? Maybe not. But for that quarter mile between stoplights where there's 2 90-degree S-curves, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And you're going to smile ear to ear. And that is what Toyota took away from us. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their Corolla and making me realize what's missing from Toyota's current lineup. They are absolutely awesome. I cannot thank them enough. Their information is up on the screen as well as linked in the description below. Check them out and come in and buy this dang Corolla. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.